Hearing from a handful of our California bureau chiefs today, coincidentally. Unless they're colluding, and I don't know it. If you listen to us on iHeartRadio, tell me where. I'd like to know where people are. Aaron is in Dublin, California. Danielle's out in Orange County. Jake's there, too. Phil's in Valencia, California. Joe is in San Jose. Wendy is our bureau chief in Covina, California. Is this Don? Hello.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's going on, Don? Thank you for holding on. What's up?
Yeah, I waited for quite a while, man. How you guys doing?
Hanging in there. What's up?
I don't know. I forgot. What do you guys want to talk about?
Don, you called me. Were you calling about Mary's cat?
Oh, yeah, now I remember.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, get a dog and then
Nice.
feed the cat to that dog. That'll solve all your problems.
Well,
Cat
I mean,
sucks.
that's not going to happen. I mean, that's not a constructive
Listen,
suggestion there, Don.
He waited 20 minutes to say that. Let him have
I
it.
know. Let him have it. Yeah.
Hey, who is this?
It's Frank. Yeah, hello. It's Frank.
I have amnesia. You're gonna have to speak up.
All right.
Hello?
Don, what are you doing or not doing today that you were able to hang on hold for 20 minutes?
Look, if you're trying to sell me something, I ain't got no money, okay?
I am. I'm trying to sell you. It's ecstasy cut with meth. Have you met my friend Bill Squire?
Really good.
Ecstasy.
Is this one of them AI Indian scamming machines? Because I ain't got no money. Leave my bank accounts alone.
I don't have your bank accounts. What I need you to do is go and send me $1,000 worth of Apple gift cards.
Hey, honey, call the police. It's them Indian scammers again.
Again.
Hey, you leave my money alone.
Yeah. All right. Hey, that's fair enough. Okay, you know what? You've convinced me. I'm going to get a dog, and I'm going to leave you alone.
Don't call here again. You understand?
I do understand. All right.
That's the sound of the police.
All right, thank you, Don. I appreciate that. There's Don, who's apparently been beset on all sides by Indian scammers. People who set up those, boy, they have them working overtime. Okay, anyway, thank you, Don. I do appreciate that, but I don't think that, hey, just get a dog is a valuable suggestion for Mary's cat problem.
Yeah.
Obviously, she knows she could get a dog. Why don't you get a dog?
I'm not going to do that.
Oh, introduce that in. Have you ever
Again.
had a dog, or are you a lifelong cat person?
No, I had two dogs growing up.
That,
And
but
my dad had
those are
dogs.
the family dogs. You weren't responsible for them.
I have never had, no, the only pet I've ever had on my own is my cat. But I grew up with dogs. My dad had dogs. When I was a little kid, we had dogs.
What kind
I
of
like
dog?
dogs. I grew up, we had, one was a mutt. We just called her a mutt. She had all the colors in her. Nobody knew which was. And then she had a litter of puppies, and we kept one of those. It was a black lab. And then my dad in high school had a beagle. And then when that one died, they got another beagle and a Rottweiler.
Beagles are country dogs, and a lot of people don't know that.
Beagles are loud.
They howl. They ain't city dogs.
No.
First apartment I lived in with an ex-girlfriend of mine right out of college, we lived in the 19th floor of a high-rise in Chicago, and our neighbors had beagles. I don't know if they had just moved into the city. I don't know if they were hip to it, but those goddamn dogs would howl all night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, help me help you. I don't know what the situation is here, but beagles are not high-rise dogs.
Not at all. They are very loud. They don't listen. They have
They're
a lot
hunting
of
dogs.
energy. They
You
have
got to
a
let
ton
them
of
run,
energy.
man. You got to let them sleep under the porch if they want to.
Our first dog at my dad's apartment, we used to play what was called apartment ball, where we had one long hallway down our apartment. We would have to stand by the door of the apartment and throw the ball down the hallway. Like in the wintertime when it was too cold to take her out to do all that.
I'll do that
We'll
with
play
Whoopsie when I
apartment
get
ball.
home late at night, and
Yeah.
I just need to get her to just 5 minutes of energy out. I'll do that. I'll just chuck a ball down the
Gas
hallway.
her out.
She goes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
She loves it.
We throw with our dog in the backyard every day.
I like beagles. I think they're very cute.
They're great dogs. They're not city dogs.
Yeah.
No.
Dogs rule.
I took on the shame that the world gave to me. For 25 years, making fun of my weight was national sport. 1990, I saw myself on the cover of TV Guide's Best and Worst Dressed list. And I remember thinking, oh, look, there I am on the cover. Mr. Blackwell, the tastemaker of the time, called me bumpy, lumpy, and downright dumpy. I was ridiculed on every late-night talk show for 25 years and tabloid covers for 25 years. So, in an effort to combat all the shame, I starved myself for nearly 5 months and then wheeled out that wagon of fat. And after losing 67 pounds on a liquid diet, the next day I started to gain it back.
You know, you either do or don't like Oprah, and she's been doing it for so long that for a long time people took her for granted. But when I was a kid, she was just a local television host in Chicago. They had hired her from I don't know where. And there was a guy who did like an entertainment show, like one of those Get the Hell Up Cleveland, whatever those shows are called, those morning entertainment shows. We had a guy named Rob Weller in Chicago. He'd been at the Channel 7, the ABC affiliate. And he got hired for a brand new show called Entertainment Tonight. And so he left. And they replaced him with this woman named Oprah Winfrey. The show was AM Chicago. So I was like in the 6th grade, maybe. And say what you want about Oprah, she defied every convention of what people were supposed to look like on television. So, a couple of years in, she was a big girl, and nobody knew who she was. She had a weird name, and she came from, I don't know. She was trying to work her way up through local television, and they brought her in Chicago. But, within a couple of years, AM Chicago got renamed the Oprah Winfrey Show. And that was before she was syndicated. So she was just like a local morning show. But she blew up.
Yeah, we know. She just talked about it.
And then, but she had like the feathery news anchor hair too, So whoever, I don't know the name of the GM over there who hired her, but that was a smart dude, boy, because that show literally went worst to first.
Well, it's
in a couple of ratings periods with Oprah Winfrey, because she
popular.
Just clicked into something that people loved, and then when they blew her up nationwide, the rest was history. But
when she got to being like a household name so quickly, which and not even just like a household name, but like a fixture on television so quickly, which was unheard of, like in all those ways you said. But also just for having that show on for, 30 years before she
25 years.
25 years?
Like
Yeah, it's just insane.
It also, and I know times are different now, and she was trying to get ahead of it, but you really cannot underestimate the power of having a syndicated television show. You still can't. Because she's like, I'm going to go off and do my own thing. Literally. The Oprah Winfrey Network, OWN. And pulled her show. She goes, why should I be, she was still extraordinarily successful and very, very wealthy. But you want your own thing. You want your own empire. And rather than working for a syndicator, I think King World was the syndicator, and rather than kicking up to TV Daddy, she's like, I want to do my own thing. But once you come off people's televisions and tell them, now you have to go listen to me here, or you have to go watch me here. It was okay for a while. She had the magazine and the whole thing, and people will follow you to the magazine because they're still grocery shopping, and they're still standing in line, and there's Oprah Magazine, and she's on the cover of every one, which is smart. People will still buy the magazine. But when you say, come over here, you can't blame her for wanting to have her own thing. But there is a certain calculus. When you make a jump like that, you're going to lose a lot of people because they're not going to come over and watch your cable channel.
Well, it was
you're
boring.
Not on TV every day. Well,
her talk show was actually pretty interesting. Like
it's not easy to come up with an entire slate of programming. But it's a lot easier to do a show that people can click on. Oprah Winfrey had like 100% clearance in television markets. Every market had Oprah on. Ellen didn't even get that. And I think, is the Ellen Show still on? I know we were talking
No,
about this last week.
no,
It's not
not
on,
on,
right?
no.
She split or
She
whatever.
got canceled.
I think this Drew Barrymore show is doing pretty well, actually. Just very quietly, this Drew Barrymore show, Kelly Clarkson's show, does pretty well. So there's no real heiress apparent to that, and nobody's going to top what Oprah did. Because it was a different time, too.
But again, Oprah show, like when you have an hour to fill every day, like you can get some pretty diverse topics, and you know, even if you have a few stinkers, you got the next day to make it up. But like a network, her brand, she was trying to carry over like what was on her show on a network 24/7, and it just didn't work. Like she had like a small TV series. It was called Oprah's Next Chapter, and it was essentially just like, where are they now? And I'm like, okay, well that's been done before, and she's not a tea sipper. Like she doesn't get the gossip. She's Oprah, so people feel like, oh, well, you're a mama bear, so no matter what goes on in my life, Oprah is gonna make me feel better about it. And I don't think a lot of people want that. They want like controversy.
Well, I mean, she got her audience, but like Harpo Studios, when that eventually shut down in Chicago, that employed a lot of people. And when that eventually got closed, I mean, it took up an entire city block, a giant city block for her studios. And there's still a lot of people watching that. That Oprah Winfrey network, is on in most homes, but I don't. Again,
think it attracts new fans though.
Yeah, I don't know what it does, but it's just, I don't know that she realized how difficult it was going to be to get people to follow her rather than, I know this is on every day on Channel 7 or whatever it is.
For example, she had the American Idol of TV shows. It was called Your Own Show. So, like, the winner of the competition gets their own show on the Oprah Winfrey Network. Like, she was, like, auctioning off a time slot for someone. Like, she was trying to find, America's next top TV host. And I don't know what happened with that. I don't know if the person actually ended up getting a show.
Why didn't Wendy Williams hitch her wagon to the Oprah Winfrey Network?
Because she said she's Oprah.
Well, I mean, that's cute.
But that's what she said. She idolized Oprah, but she said she could never be Oprah because, again,
not be her. But even
Wendy was a gossiper. Like, she was a gossip
right,
queen,
but,
and that was not Oprah's brand.
No. But I'm just saying, I in my mind, there's always room for a show on a network like that. There's always room for one person to be doing something that's not like the rest of the programming.
That wasn't Wendy's upbringing, though, or like that wasn't how she came up. She hitched her wagon to some other network. Like, they snatched her off of radio. I don't know if Oprah wanted to go in that direction because Oprah has interviewed a lot of people. She never interviewed a Wendy Williams. That's something that I would watch. Like, I didn't want to be like Wendy Williams. I wanted to be Wendy Williams. Just the eccentrics, like the wigs and the way she would like purse her lips and give you tea. Like, that was my version, that like what I wanted to emulate, or in my own way, of broadcasting. And Oprah, she is more of like an interviewer. Like she
well, it's somewhat of a generational thing too.
It is.
Like,
and
Oprah was kind of old school, and she came from that Donahue mold. You probably don't know who that is. You don't know who Phil Donahue is.
I heard the name. I didn't watch his show.
So, when you do Cake by the Lake, is that all spilling tea and serving Lukes?
It depends on
what it is?
What my guest is. Yeah,
eating
sure.
cake, yeah.
I want them to have a good time. I don't want it to feel like an interview. It is an interview, but
Well, they only get 15 minutes.
if you get people, yeah. But I got questions, and there's no gotcha questions. It's having fun, enjoying some cake, and
You prepare the questions?
yeah.
All right, then.
I was gonna say,
I was like, is there more?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, I prepare the questions. Yeah, and
Yeah, okay.
I run it by them. I do like a little run of show, and then if they want to plug something or if they want to take something out, they can. It's not like that. It's fun. It's
All that
just
in
promo.
15 minutes.
Mm-hmm. 5, 5, 5. Boom, boom, boom.
Now, how does that break down? 5, 5, 5.
Well, there's the first 5, and then there's the second 5, and then
I mean,
there's
the last
third
5's
5.
eating the cake.
But you
Gesundheit.
can also eat and talk. I think people can do
Gesundheit.
2 things at once. Especially
No,
me.
you're not supposed to eat and talk
Well, I
on
do.
something where people are
That's
listening to it
not
and
his-
watching.
That's what I do.
It's his appeal, Alan.
That's
We've been
not
over
an
this
appeal.
100 times.
No, just because I know he's trying to put this. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
There's no one who's like watching something because people are eating and talking.
I didn't say that's why they're watching. I just
Well,
said
then why
that's
do
the-
it?
Because I'm not gonna. I got 5 minutes left, and I'm gonna eat my cake too. I can have my cake and interview too.
So you have a mouthful of cake and you're talking to them.
Sometimes.
Well, then
yeah,
maybe it's better that they aren't also eating cake. So everybody's not talking with cake in their mouth.
they can do what they please. They don't have to eat with me if they don't want to.
Yeah, but you'll eat. You'll have a mouthful of cake
Oh,
and
I'm
you'll be
gonna eat.
talking to them.
Yes, I'm gonna eat.
Yeah.
I'm grown.
What does that mean?
I'm grown. I can do what I want. I'm eating my cake.
Well, right, but I mean,
Right. Hold on. I had to finish my gummy worm.
right. See, that's gross. And that's why we would break your balls.
I'm
And
aware.
and you're like, well, I'm going to keep that part. I'm going to keep the eating part.
But it's not crunchy anymore.
Oh, it's
It's
but that's
wet.
the soft, nasty, sloppy. Like that's
So, anyways,
the gummy
Alan,
worms
turn
weren't
warm.
crunchy either.
Yeah, but whatever he was eating before the gummy worms, or the bag crinkling it, I guess.
That wasn't me. Was it?
What? Yeah, it was you.
That was me. Right. I was getting my gummy worm out of the bag.
Yeah.
Had to finish my gummy worm.
I love it. I was reading a thing on things that are turning 50 this year, and the Heimlich maneuver is one of them. And I was like, wow, that seems like something that would be really old. Because I saved someone's life with the Heimlich maneuver a good 30 years ago.
Do it
And had I
once
known,
a week.
what's that?
I do it like once a week.
Had I known that it was only 20 years old at the time, that would have really surprised me. Dr. Henry Heimlich described it in an article in 1974. I wonder why he didn't call it the Henry maneuver. That would have been a flex, too. I mean, people, I think, you're going to name something, you default to the last name, but smack a choking person on the back over and over again. By the time I employed it, I had the fists in the rib cage and the guy's steak chunk popped out. There was a guy choking at a table next to me. And everybody was standing around with their thumbs up their asses, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I'm
What
like,
maneuver
well,
is that?
that's the thumb up the ass maneuver.
But it's not named after anybody?
The thumb up the ass?
Yeah.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's named after somebody. I just didn't take the time to figure it out. Lowrys Prime Rib. Due to the table next to me. Boom. Steak comes right out. Did this guy buy my dinner? No. He should have.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was just so shocked. He was probably terrified that he was. But nowadays, they tell you not to do that because you might break somebody's rib. I'm like, well, would you rather have a crack rib or die in the most embarrassing way possible, which is you got a piece of food stuck in your throat?
Yes.
Die that way? Rather
Very
die that way?
embarrassing.
Yeah.
No, crack my rib. I'd like to
Skittles turned 50. D&D turns 50. Unfortunately, so do a lot of its people who still play it. Connect 4. Barcodes are only 50 years old. I thought those had been around a lot longer. Bailey's Irish Cream. And Post-it notes. But I thought that the Heimlich maneuver was a lot older than that. And the Meow Mix jingle is only 50 years old, too. Maybe play that for your cat. Maybe that'll get him a... Well, you know the words.
Again, my cat is not the problem.
Always blaming another cat.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
Never looking inward at the problem. It's always something else.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Always looking. I got to take a break. Want to go to see 311? Yeah, they're doing Sonic Temple, but if you don't want to haul ass to Columbus, they're going to be doing Jacob's Pavilion later in the summer with AWOL Nation and somebody else. Oh, Neon Trees are on that bill, too. So, well, I'll hand out 311 passes after the break. 35192. Send me a text. We'll get to some hot goss with Perez